Okay. Okay, guys, let's get started. My name is Shekhar. Overall, I have 14 years of experience in SAP SD, SAP S4HANA Sales, and SAP PS. So PS is a project systems. If any client is into some service-based industry, then they have to use SAP PS. So they charge their employees on hourly basis, right? So for that, they require some work breakdown structure. So in order to just generate the breakdown structure and link it with few contracts, we have SAP project systems integration. So I'm certified SAP SD and SAP S4HANA consultant. I'm working with one of the Fortune 500 companies as a project lead. Okay. This is just my quick introduction. So let's get started on the demo on SAP SD. Let me just share my screen. Let me just log into SAP system. So while explaining, if you have any questions, you can feel free to stop me. Okay. So SAP stands for System Applications and Products in Data Processing. SD is the sales and distribution. Okay. So SD stands for sales and distribution. So our role in any SAP project is to work on the application development, application means it's SAP application only. Application development, support, rollouts, and upgrade project. So these are different kinds of projects we have in real time. So once you move to any specific project, you can be assigned with any one of these projects. So in our sessions, we are going to cover all four. Even we do have the migration project as well from SD to SAP S4 HANA, ECC to S4 HANA. So these are five different kinds of projects which we will experience in real time. So in our sessions, we will cover each and every project in detail. So we will have our course duration from 2.5 months to in between 3 months. So whenever we start the session, we record and we upload the recording in the drive. Second, let me just share the drive. So once we are done with the session, within 5 minutes, you'll be able to find the recording. I'll just give you the entire folder access to you so that you'll be able to access all, follow on even on the previous recordings as well. So this is how. So with specific date wise, I'll just upload recordings here. Okay. So this is how I update. Okay, fine. And let's get started with demo. See here, in real time, if any customer places the order, so then what do we do? So it's a SAP SD is it's a very generic module. So that's why whatever the terminology we use, it is very easy for you to understand. So you don't have to put in much efforts to understand and follow the terminology. Terminology wise, it's user friendly. Now, say if any customer places the order, obviously this customer will place the order for a specific material, right? This customer will place the order for a material. So as soon as this customer places the order for a material, then we will create the sales order to the customer. If you want to deliver goods to the customer, obviously we need a document. So if any customer places the order, first we need to create the sales order. So if you can observe in real time in any of the supermarkets, so they don't update any material price manually unless they have some requirement. So they always just scan the product. As soon as the product is scanned, by default system has to fetch the prices. So all these prices have to be fetched automatically by the system. So we should not enter any prices manually in the sales order level. We means it's a user. So if you update any prices manually in the sales order, that will lead to a discrepancy in the transaction level. So it occurs few manual mistakes as well. So that's why we don't recommend any manual pricing for any specific client. So they just have to scan the product. By default, system has to fetch the pricing value from our SAP configuration. So how do we need to work on that configuration? I'll let you know. Okay, so once the system fetches prices in the sales order, we have different kinds of prices, right? We have the base price, discounts, and if customer wants the product to be delivered at his home address, even we charge the freight. So in SAP, we call transportation charges as freight. And the taxes as well. So for Indian clients, we have GST tax, and apart from Indian clients, we use MWST as a tax condition. So once we move on, then you'll be able to understand. So even for Indian clients also, we have different kinds of GSTs. We have central GST, state GST, integrated GST, and the union territory GST. We have different kinds of GST conditions. So once we move on to the pricing concept, then you'll be able to understand more. So once the sales order is created, then you should physically deliver the product to the end customer. So now this is your plant. Under your plant, you have a stock of 1,000 finished goods. Now this customer places the order to get some 10 goods. Now even for same 10 goods, even the delivery also has been created. That means once you deliver the product physically to the customer, so from your available stock, system should decrease 10 stock. It will become minus 10. Once the product is delivered to the customer, then we need to get the payment from the end customer. If you wanna get the payment from the end customer, you have to execute the invoice or billing document. So invoice or billing document, both are same, okay? There's no difference. Invoice or billing document. So once this invoice or billing document is created, then we will get the payment from the customer based on the payment terms. That means the agreement we have with the end customer. So we just created invoice today. When does the customer have to make the payment? So does he have to make the payment immediately or else within 1 week or within a 45 days? So these payment terms differ from one specific customer to other specific customer. Okay. So we created the invoice or billing document. As soon as you create the invoice or billing document, the system has to generate the accounting document automatically. Just remember this, okay? This is important. So this accounting document is basically the integration between SAP SD and SAP FICO. What do you mean by integration? Integration means we all need to work in a specific object. We call that specific object as an integration topic. That means from SAP SD point of view, you should work on some changes. From SAP FICO, some changes have to be done. So that's why once we start our sessions, from next session onwards, even we will cover other modules as well apart from SAP SD. In real time, you are expected to have 100% of knowledge on SAP SD. But at the same time, you should have an integration knowledge from SAP SD with other modules. So that's really important. Fine. So let's assume that in this invoice, you are charging 100 USD. Now, you should pass same 100 USD to the accounting document to get the payment. Once end customer makes the payment of this 100 USD, then FICO people, they'll clear this accounting document. That's their transaction. We don't have to look into that. So we call this as a standard sales business process. Standard sales process. So now here, we may have different kinds of prices as I explained. One is the base price. If you want to purchase any product, you go to any one of the showrooms or supermarkets, right? So let's assume that you want to purchase a bike or car. Now, let's assume that your bike's base price is some 60,000 INR. And if customer or material is eligible for the discount, then they'll just update the discount also. So how much discount? It's around some 20%. So from where do we calculate this 20%? We deduct all discounts always on the base price. Your base price is 60,000 INR. So on 60,000 INR, your base price here should be 20%. So 20% is equals to 60,000 is equals to 60,000 into 20 by 100. That is 12,000. So 12,000 is your discount. So if it's a discount, always we will just show that in minus in SAP. Then the system will calculate the gross value. Gross value is equals to base price minus discount. So what's your base price? 60,000. 60,000 minus 12,000, which is equals to 48,000. This is your gross value. In case if customer wants the product to be delivered at his home address, then we will charge the transportation charges. In SAP, we call transportation charges as Right. So let's assume that they are going to charge 2000 INR as a freight. So it should be in positive because we are charging that value from the customer. And if it's a bike or car, obviously it's applicable for insurance, right? So they'll just update insurance. Let's assume that that is some 5000 INR. This is the insurance. And if it's applicable for some packing charges, because if you want to deliver product to the customer, first the product has to be packed. If you don't pack the product, obviously, which will lead to some unnecessary scratch and dents, right? So that's why packing is required. So even for packing also, customer has to be charged. Let's assume that this is some 1000 INR. So in SAP, we call all these additional charges, freight, insurance, packing, and some loading charges. All these charges are being called as surcharge. Surcharge is nothing but this is just a additional charge which we are charging from the end customer. So what's your total surcharge here? 2000, 5000, and the 6000. Your surcharge value is equals to 2000, 5000, and 1000. Total is 8000 is your surcharge value. So if it is for any specific Indian client, as we discussed, we follow the GST. We have different kinds of GST, central GST, state GST, union territory GST, and integrated GST. So we always charge the tax or GST on the total net value. So before this GST, let me just update the net value. The net value is equals your gross value plus surcharge. So here your gross value is equals to 48,000. Your gross value is 48,000 and your surcharge is 8,000. So your total net value is equals to 48,000 plus 12,000. Sorry, 8,000, right? 8,000, which is equals to 56,000. So this is your total net value. On this net value, we will charge the tax or GST. So let's assume that I'm just going to charge some 10% of tax. So this tax will be calculated on the net value. So your total net value is 56,000. So on this 56,000, your tax value is 10%. That means that is equals to 5,600. This is your net value. So we call this entire structure as a pricing structure. So whatever the pricing structure you are able to see here, even in real time also you'll be able to find the same. There's no difference. Even in SAP also, we follow the same pricing approach or structure. So this pricing is really important. If you attend any interview, at least you will have minimum of 40% of questions will only be on pricing. So that's why the pricing is really important. So let me just show you my entire course content. Okay. So this is my entire SAP SD course content. Okay. So this course content contains 100% of SAP SD, along with integration of SAP SD with other modules, even including the interview questions and the resume preparation also. So compared to other modules, SAP SD it's a vast module. That's why it really has the huge demand in the market compared to other modules. So if you can take any small project also, you should have minimum of 2 SAP SD consultants, because the SAP SD scope is really huge compared to other modules. So that's why we really have a good demand in the market compared to other module consultants. Okay. So let's get continued. Any questions so far from anyone?
Hi,
Shekhar,
Shekhar,
Harshit here.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
yeah,
Ah,
continue.
so, so, like, for
Harshita, your voice is breaking for me.
product-based company will follow this pricing structure. What? Am I audible now?
Now you are audible. Yeah.
Okay. So this pricing structure will follow for product-based company. What about service-based?
No, in all. For all clients, this is the standard generic pricing structure. So all clients, they
Okay.
follow the same pricing structure, but along with these conditions, we may have few other conditions. So those conditions will be discussed in the pricing concept. Okay. But pricing structure point of view, this is the same for all clients. There's no difference. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shekhar, I have a doubt, like not doubt, I just need the explanation for what is ECC and what is ERP. Why do we need the ERP?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
the introduction before this,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
So I'll just move on to this demo on ECC to S4 HANA as well. Yeah.
okay. And also ERP will cover everything basics, right?
Yeah. So in
Okay,
these sessions, we'll cover everything, including basics and even the real-time concepts and even the complex requirement-based developments as well.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? More? Okay. So if you don't have any questions, we'll continue. Done. So let me just take you through the brief introduction about S4 HANA as well. So this SAP falls under ERP software. So this is enterprise resource planning. So under ERP, SAP is one of the applications. So in SAP, we have two different versions. So one is the ECC. ECC stands for Enterprise Central Component. ECC stands for Enterprise Central Component. So whatever the modules currently which we are working on, like SAP SD, SAP MM, SAP FICO, SAP Basis, and SAP ABAP, SAP PS, SAP Security, and SAP PO, and SAP PP. So all these modules are using ECC system only. ECC means it's one of the SAP systems. And going forward, majority of the clients, they are gonna get migrated from ECC to SAP S4 HANA. S4 HANA. So from each and every module, they have their dedicated module even on S4 HANA. So in the same way, for SAP SD people, the module is S4 HANA sales. This is the upgraded version. S4 HANA sales. So even I am the trainer for SAP S4 HANA sales as well. So if you directly want to get trained on SAP S4 HANA sales, you will not be able to understand, because the S4 HANA means we have few changes from ESD in S4 HANA. So currently you have, these are the entire topics we have in ECC or ESD. Now, among these topics, almost 40% of the concepts are going to get changed in S4 HANA. So if you understand how these concepts are being functioned in the ECC or traditional system, then only you'll be able to understand the difference in S4 HANA. If you don't understand how it is designed or built in ECC, it's not easy for you to understand in S4 HANA. So even when you attend any interviews, or else even in your certification also, you should have an understanding on how it is built or designed in ECC. Then only you'll be able to correlate on the changes on S4 HANA. So S4 HANA here, basically the main difference between ECC and S4 HANA is the database. So in ECC, we may have some third-party databases, SQL, some Sybase or DB2. These are few databases which belong to third party in ECC systems. But in S4 HANA, you don't have to depend on any third party database. You need to use your SAP's own database, which is HANA. So just remember that HANA is a database and S4 HANA sales is a module. Okay, I'll repeat it once again. HANA is a database and S4 HANA sales is, it's a module. So this is one of the differences. In traditional ECC systems, we have limitation on the RAM, because these third-party databases, they don't support huge RAM. But in S4 HANA, as we are using our own database, there is no limitation on RAM. So let's assume that you have 10 TB of database. You can have 10 TB of RAM also in S4. That's possible. That's why even in S4, the data gets stored in the RAM also, along with the database. So this is one of the advantages. Because when we just take the server restart, then what will happen? Whatever the data you have in the RAM, that gets disappeared. But once your system is back, then the data gets accumulated in the RAM from the database. So this functionality is only available in S4, not in the traditional ECC systems. And apart from that, we have few concepts from SAP, like you have customer master, vendor master, and the pricing elements tables, and credit management, rebates, availability check, and the output for the billing documents, and the pricing changes. So all these concepts are going to get changed in SAP S4 HANA. So they are not similar like a ECC system, because the functionality has been improved a lot. Consequently, there are many changes in the SAP application. So we should understand how it is built in the ECC. Then only you'll be able to understand on how changes can be implemented in S4 HANA for that specific topic. So this is just the overview on SAP S4 HANA. Any questions so far?
No, Shekhar.
Yeah. Okay.
So Shekhar, I have a question. In this PS's project support,
Sorry?
these modules which you have mentioned, SAP, SD,
Mm.
in this PS's project support,
No, it's a project systems.
project system.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have few service-based industries, right? So they just provide only service. They don't have any physical product. So in that
Okay.
case, they don't have any delivery.
Okay.
So they'll
Um,
just have order and invoice, not the delivery.
okay.
Right?
Actually, I work for client engagement support
Mm-hmm.
and internal projects
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on a S/4HANA only.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So
So we
is that
create,
on PS, SAP PS?
yes,
That means do you
S/4HANA,
use WS elements?
AWBS element internal project
Mm-hmm.
codes and all.
Mm-hmm. Project. Okay. You define project
Yeah.
and
Yes,
mhm,
we work for S/4HANA and Fiori.
mhm, mhm. Okay. So that means you use PR05, PRFI, PRRW for expenses
Yes,
and
right.
CAT 2, CAT 7.
No, we have here different terminology in Deloitte.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So even we may have that KKA2, right? Results analysis. So, yeah. So generally we use this project systems module only in the service-based industries. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions more? You can ask me if you have any other questions. I think we have two more guys joined. Hi, Mrudu. Can you hear me? Hi, Saujanya. You are on mute. Okay.
Shekhar, I have one more question.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the
Please go.
team I support,
Mm,
internal projects or client engagement support,
mm.
it comes under SAP SD or FICO?
It depends on the functionalities which you support.
Okay.
So if you are providing any kind of support on the sales,
Mm-hmm.
so on sales point of view, that comes under SAP SD.
And invoicing, it
Invoicing also, sales, orders, deliveries, invoices, credit memo, debit memo, consignment, third party, IPO, free of charge, subsequent free of charge, contracts, agreements, all these things come under SAP SD.
okay.
Okay. But when it comes to some settlement and we have KK to results analysis and the profit centers, general ledger accounts, balance sheet accounts, chart of accounts, posting period variance, fiscal year variant. These things come under FICO. Okay. And when it comes to some material procurement, that comes under SAP MM. So based on the functionalities, whatever we support, it basically decides which module currently we are working on. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? No other questions? You can feel free to ask me if you have any small question as well. Okay. I think no one has any questions. Let's get started. Okay, fine. So this is how we will have different modules and this for HANA sales. So as I explained, you need to understand SAP SD if you wanna get trained on SAP S4 HANA sales. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand anything else. So in our sessions, as I explained, even we will cover the interview questions as well as the certification questions also. So don't go through some kind of third-party institutes for the certification. You can directly make a payment to SAP, and so you have the training.sap.com, right? So there you have to make a payment to SAP in order to just get your training materials as well as the training link and even your assessment link as well. So generally it costs around some 40,000 INR if you wanna just go for some 3 attempts. That means for each module, you will have 3 attempts. So you will have total 6 attempts, but for one module, you will have maximum of only 3 attempts. That's how it is. And if you want to just get certified through any one of your existing working companies, so you will have an option. They'll give you 2 attempts. So within 2 attempts, at least in one attempt, you have to clear your certification. Or else, if you are not being sponsored by your organization, if you want to go for certification externally, then even we may have one attempt option as well. So for one attempt, they just charge around some 12,000 INR. So that's how we have the certification, but don't go through some kind of third party people in order to just go for certification. If you need any details more on the certification, you can connect with GK. He'll just help you out with all the details. So once you are done with the entire SAP SD course, you will be in a better position to go for certification as well. For that, again, you don't have to go for any explicit training. Whatever we cover in our sessions, it's more than enough, even for your certification also. Okay, fine. So this is how we have entire the SAP SD and S4HANA training. So once GK creates the WhatsApp group, I'll just create the Google Drive. I'll just give you the entire Google Drive access. You can just access all recordings, including today's recording, even the future recordings as well. Once we are done with the session, within 5 minutes, you'll be able to find recording in the SharePoint. So once we upload recordings, we are not gonna make any changes in that. The recording will remain as it is. So this is how we will continue with our sessions. And we are just done with the demo on SAP SD and the overview on SAP S4HANA sales. So from next session onwards, we will move on to actual sessions. So the first topic here we have is the Greenfield implementation overview. So before we start our actual system configuration from this Wednesday, please try to get your SAP system access done by GK. So please get in touch with GK. He'll help you out with the system access. Okay. So for next session, you don't require any system access. We are just going to cover the overview. But from Wednesday onwards, we are just moving on to the actual system configuration. So any
Shekhar, we'll complete the complete S4 in the same session, same class, or we'll need to join some other class separately?
yeah. So we have two options. Few people, they just join only for SD training. Few people, they join for SD as well as S4HANA sales. So this 7:30 a.m. batch is explicitly for SAP SD. And once we are done with SAP SD, we will cover SAP S4HANA sales as well.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that you have to wait until entire SAP SD is done to go for S4HANA sales training. So once we are done with some 80% on SAP SD, then even if you join S4HANA sales, you'll be in a better position to understand.
Okay.
So our course duration is from 2.5 months to in between 3 months. So anyway, once we are done with entire SAP SD in the same 7:30 a.m. batch, we will start working on SAP S4HANA training also. But before that only, within 2 months, we are going to start one more S4HANA batch during evening time as per my understanding, or else during in the morning only around some 8:30 a.m. IST. So I suggest you to just join S4HANA sessions once you are done with entire SAP SD so that it's easy for you to understand each and every concept. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's how we are going to proceed. Okay. So any further questions? No other questions? You can ask me any questions on how is the current market on SAP SD or SAP S4HANA sales. Or else if you are just moving from marketing, do you have any questions? So the one who is working on SAP, I think it's very straightforward for people. But if someone is coming from pharma or else some marketing background, so it's you may have many questions. So yes, as I explained, SE is very generic module. Terminology wise also, you don't have to worry much about it. Because however we interact in real time, we almost use the same terminology. But here and there, we have few new terminologies which we follow as we spend 2.5 months to 3 months of time so that you will become very familiar for terminology and SAP SD. So any further questions from anyone? So as this today is just the overview session. So from next session onwards, we will have session until 8:30 a.m. IST, okay? 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. IST. So do we have anyone from other countries apart from India from this batch right now?
I am from Chicago.
Okay, okay, sure. So now what's the time over there? It's 7 p.m.
Here is 8:48.
Okay, 8:48 p.m. Okay. Mhm. Okay. So apart from Shama, everyone is from India. Okay, I think so. Okay, guys, yeah. So this is how we will just continue with our sessions. So we will just get back tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. IST, okay? So any further questions before we wind up the call for today?
Nothing from my side, Shekhar.
Okay.
Shikhar, can you just go to one that paint application where you were explaining things?
Paint, yeah, yeah.
So this
Yeah.
application development, it's basically implement.
Yeah, it's a greenfield implementation.
Okay.
Okay. So that's our first concept, okay, in entire SAP SD.
When they say complete implementation cycle, it means we need to matlab, create or define everything from beginning.
Yes, yes. So it's a brand new SAP system the client is getting. That means the client is using some non-SAP application right now. It can be some Java
Mm-hmm.
based or else Oracle based application. Now we just need to
Okay.
migrate the client from non-SAP to SAP completely. Then we call that as a greenfield
Okay.
implementation project.
Okay. So
Now,
you need to do research and need to create all required,
yeah. So basically, in
means
all
it
greenfield
will be
implementation
difficult now
projects,
for totally new.
it's a fresh development, yeah. So when we are migrating any client from non-SAP to SAP, that means we should understand how it is built or designed in the non-SAP application. So then only will be in a better position to understand how the development can be done in SAP application. Once we start the greenfield implementation, we will have calls with the business or client to understand how they are functioning the transactions in the non-SAP. And what are the standard approaches which are suggested by SAP? We will propose those solutions to the client. And accordingly, we need to prepare the business blueprint document. If client is okay with that, we will just proceed ahead with that. Or else, if client's requirement is deviating from the standard functionality, yes, we will fulfill that requirement through the SAP customization. So how do we fulfill that? So once we move on to our actual sessions from next session onwards, you'll be able to understand, okay?
I have one more question, Shekhar. As in and in Fury also we create this project. So how it differ?
So Fiori is nothing but it's like a user-friendly application. So currently, if you want to make any transaction, we have mobile applications, right? Like your banking application. Just an example. So by using
Okay.
those application, you make some transaction, right? So it's a user-friendly application, Fiori. So apart from that, it doesn't have any other significance. Because see, if any user wants to create some sales orders or deliveries or invoices, it doesn't mean that every time user has to log into the SAP system. So by using the mobile application itself, they can place the order. So it's a user-friendly application.
So all service-based company, they use Fiori as well.
No, it doesn't mean that only service-based, even the product-based companies also they use.
Okay.
Okay. So based on the functionality, they'll just go for the Fiori application. Okay. So it is basically to ease the user's job. So these Fiori applications are compatible with almost 99% of devices. So that's why every time the user doesn't have to log into SAP system or to laptop in order to just make some transaction. Even by using mobile application, they can just do the transaction within fraction of seconds. That's how it is. Okay. So we will cover even the Fiori applications as well. Okay. So we will cover all the different kinds of the SAP applications and the products in our sessions. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions? More? No other questions? Okay. I see that GK joined. Hey, hi GK. GK, we are done with the demo on SAP SD and the overview on SAP S/4HANA sales. So we are starting our first session tomorrow at sharp 7:30 a.m. IST tomorrow. So do you want to cover something, GK, before we wind up the call for today? GK, you are on mute if you are speaking.
Yeah, Shekhar, I missed your question. Come again if you don't mind.
Yeah. So we are done with the demo on SAP SD and the overview on SAP S/4HANA sales. So we will have our first session tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. IST. Okay.
Okay, Shekhar. Okay.
So do you want to cover something before we wind up the call?
No. I think Monica, Shama, Saujanya, and one more lady from Sandhya, and one more also enroll. I'm going to create a WhatsApp group. Okay. Just share the demo recording. And Shekhar, you can once group is created, you can send me the demo recording to me as well.
Yeah,
Guys, those who wants to enroll, please reach me out. Personally, I think Arshit, Mahesh, Naman, they have all my numbers. Call me for further details. If you're okay, I'm going to add in the group. And Shekhar sir, everyone got a server access as well. You can start practicals from tomorrow, okay?
Yeah. Sure, GK. Yeah.
Shekhar, I have one more question.
Yeah.
As you said, project support, is it a separate module?
No. So in entire SAP SD only we are gonna cover support, implementation, upgrade, rollout, and migration. Everything will be covered under one module only.
No, like you create WB structure
No, that is
and
PS. That's part of SAP PS project systems.
SAP project system. So it's a separate module.
It's a separate module.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, Arshit, thing is, as you know that ECC has been integrated with multiple applications. It's not an individual one. See,
Okay.
what is trying to say that if you jump into any organization, like if you may work with Ameerpet, you may work with the FICO, there are multiple each and every different functionalities work with a different structure. Okay, to give a better glance, we will cover that. What is the purpose? How to check everything, and all we will cover. Like if some other institute they will only check with only ECC SD, but our case we will tell you how to do the basic debugging. If any FI related issues, how to solve. Related. Shekhar, correct me if I am wrong. Or
Yeah.
you can.
So we will cover every end-to-end scenario. So see here, I just explained the standard process, right? So while executing the
Yeah.
standard process, we will come across multiple errors. So though those are not relevant for SAP SD, but we are responsible to resolve each and every error. So if we resolve, then only system will allow us to proceed ahead with the next transaction. So that's how SAP is built. Okay.
Okay.
So
The
I'm the
reason,
only one responsible to resolve each and any error which comes in our way in our sessions. Though it belongs to other module also, I'm the only one who is responsible to resolve the error and proceed ahead to end-to-end transaction execution.
fine, Shekhar. Gautam, the reason I asked this question because
Hmm.
in my current process, I am supporting this piece.
Okay, okay. So, but we will cover everything end-to-end in our sessions.
Oh, fine.
So as we cover everything end to end, you will get almost 100% of integration knowledge with other modules also. Okay, not only with SAP SD. Okay, yeah.
Guys, tomorrow same link, sharp 7:30 a.m. And the guys who are enrolled, I'm going to create a WhatsApp group in another 1 hour. Chalo.
Yeah, yeah.
Bye,
Thank you
guys.
all. Thanks for your time. We'll get back tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Shekhar. It was wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem. Thank you all.